Hey guys, Doug B here. I had a revelation recently that really wowed me. I mean, it just like went, ooh. Now, I don't know if you saw my video earlier this week for Moke's custom presets, but one of those presets was for The Boys Are Back in Town. Now, that particular preset has a few peculiarities about it. One of them is you have to play those solo and harmony lines in exactly the right way, otherwise it doesn't sound right. The second thing is that you have to install something called global custom scales. I couldn't figure that out at all, so I contacted Moke back in early 2020, and he told me that these were values that had to be entered manually into the front panel of the XFX3 because there was no way to save them with the preset. Now, sure enough, if you go into Setup via the front panel, then select Global Setup, page all the way over to the right, and you get Global Scales. There are 32 custom scales available to use, and Moke uses numbers 5, 6, and 7. As you can see, there are 12 entries per scale, and obviously they have to be entered exactly as Moke lists them. Otherwise, your guitar harmonies will be way off. Now, I know I called Rhett Shull a whiny baby a while back because of his take on how difficult it is for him to use the front panel. This stuff about global custom scales was a bit of a nail-biter there because of how much data you have to enter. But it worked right once I got everything entered correctly, and it made me laugh when I tried playing the parts with harmonies because it sounded right. I mean, you know, it's one guy playing one thing and you get both harmony parts. It just sounded so cool. Now, one of the features that Moke offers is free updates. And so I re-downloaded the 8 presets that I had bought. As I mentioned in the other video, you really have to read the instructions, otherwise you will be guaranteed to mess something up. Now, I was reading the documentation for the Boys Are Back preset that has been updated for use with firmware 16.05, and again there was the section about the global custom scales, except now it says you can enter them manually via the front panel or from the editor. Wait, what? From the editor? Where? So I opened AxEdit 3 and started looking, and I couldn't find anything about it anywhere. Then I noticed a button that I had either previously ignored or literally didn't see it. Look to the right of the Save button, and you get the Setup button. It's easy to miss because it's small and gray. I clicked on it, and holy... There are 9 pages of options from the Global Setup menu that previously were only available via the front panel, as well as those for the tuner. I mean, look, we have config, audio, input levels, scales, tuner, out 1 EQ, out 2 EQ, out 3 EQ, and out 4 EQ. This stuff was only available on the front panel. So let's look at each page. Config has 20 different parameters that can be edited. Power amp modeling, cabinet modeling, speaker impedance curve, spillover, reverb mix, effects mix, noise gate offset, device name, prompt on edit, edit on screen change, display offset, default scene, tap tempo, value knob push, AC line frequency, oversampling mode, and then EQ types for output 1, output 2, output 3, and output 4. Just notice right now, output 1 is set to graphic, output 2 is set to graphic, output 3 is set to off, output 4 is set to off. You can change these to either graphic or parametric. Audio has 28 different parameters. Input 1 source, input 2 source and mode, input 3 source and mode, input 4 source and mode, output 1 mode, output level, and phase, output 2 mode, output level, phase, and copy output 1, output 3 mode, boost/pad, phase, copy input 1, output 4 mode, boost/pad, phase, and copy input 1, word clock, digital input source, SPDIF/AES out source, USB output 7 and 8 source, USB output mapping, and USB buffer size. Input levels has 10 adjustable parameters. USB 1 and 2, USB 3 and 4, USB 5 and 6, USB 7 and 8, AES/SPDIF, and analog digital input levels. Input 1/instrument, input 2, input 3, input 4, and input 1 gain. And here's scales. This is the one that made me take a look because Moke said it was in the editor now. As you can see, there's 32 custom scales available. Then there are these 12 parameters, one for each note, and then a set all where you can reset all the parameters. Tuner has 12 adjustable parameters: source, mute, calibration, display mode, down tune, a switch for tuning use offsets off and on, and then the 6 offsets: E1, B2, G3, D4, A5, and E6. Now, as we saw, the output EQ type is set in the config page. And because out1 EQ was set to graphic, it has a level slider, plus it has 10 EQ band sliders: 31, 63, 125, 250, 500, 1K, 2K, 4K, 8K, and 16K. Output 2 is set up exactly the same way as output 1 EQ is set up, and out 3 and out 4 are disabled. But like we showed you, they can also be set up to have either graphic or parametric layouts. Well, there you have it, guys, using global setup from within Axe Edit. I mean, I know a lot of you guys are really, advocates of entering stuff via the front panel, and especially you gigging guys. Me, I'm a sucker for Axe Edit. I will use Axe Edit for anything if I can. So this was really good news to me. Now, maybe you already knew about this, but me had no idea about it until literally just 2 days ago. And like I said, mind blown. So I'm hoping that more front panel parameters get added to Axe Edit under the setup button. I guess that's another thing. I just have to go onto the Axe Edit wish list and add that. Next Wednesday, we'll be looking at another preset of the week. Now, you don't want to miss that, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. All right, guys, see you next week.